South African manufacturers have fallen behind the curve of rapid advances in connectivity that make advanced technologies possible. Connectivity and technology are an important factor in the growth of this industry, overall impacting job creation and skills development in the country. According to research conducted by World Wide Worx, the sector is falling behind in the adoption of fiber connectivity, while their counterparts in other countries are moving fast ahead with the adoption of technology. To tell us more about this, about the future of technology in manufacturing in South Africa, is Arthur Goldstuck, who is the Managing Director of Worldwide Worx. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Right. The last time we spoke about the issue of connectivity was when we had holes dug and furrows dug throughout Johannesburg. How would you then paint the picture of connectivity since that connectivity initiation stage up until now?
We've seen quite a revolution in the use of fiber going into businesses especially, and more into homes as well. One suburb after another is being connected by fiber. And you can see that fiber is rapidly taking over from ADSL. Now, 10 years ago, ADSL was the revolution. Small businesses especially were all trying to get connected to ADSL, and homes to a lesser extent. But because there was only one provider of ADSL, which was Telkom, it limited the rise and the growth of ADSL. So we reached about 1.1 million connections. Now fiber has come in, and it's very quickly replacing fiber. So we're seeing, for example, that Telkom has now announced that it's going to retire its ADSL network because there is firstly so much demand for fiber, but secondly it's so superior to ADSL. It doesn't rely on copper, which gets stolen out of the ground. So if you can retire copper and bring in fiber, you're not just introducing a more stable and reliable form of connectivity, but also one that can't be disrupted by theft of cables, for example. But the big shift that we're now seeing is that businesses in particular are rapidly moving to fiber away from ADSL, the same way that in the early part of the century we saw them move from dial-up to ADSL. Now it's ADSL to fiber. But the manufacturing sector is lagging behind in that.
So how would the introduction of this kind of connectivity improve efficiency in productivity?
It firstly increases the speed of communication and the efficiency of communication and how much you can do on that connection. So a fiber connection, for example, you can watch movies on demand almost in real time. So people always compare the download speed, how long it takes to download a movie. But it's not about how long it takes to download the whole movie. It's about being able to watch movies, videos, and, for example, take part in video conferencing, where it doesn't seem like there's any lag. So when you're having a video conference, it's almost like you are in the same room. Whereas in the past with the ADSL, it was always very shaky, and the picture was always quite blurred as well. So that didn't give a sense of real face-to-face communication, and it also meant that the business conversations were not as effective as they are now on a fiber connection. This is one of many benefits. Just in terms of real-time information, for example, in financial services, that instant access to information as it changes is vital for competitiveness.
So what's making the manufacturing sector, for example, to be sluggish in terms of moving with the times?
Manufacturing invested in plant type equipment and heavy duty equipment over the years, and then stuck to that equipment because of the sunk costs. And that mindset has also moved over to communications and productivity technology, office technology, and the like. So you don't have the same level of what they call digital transformation, which means making the whole organization digital and also effective and more efficient on that digital platform. So we worked on this research project with a company called CISPRO to understand how mobile technology in particular is affecting productivity. And what we found, and what they've kind of endorsed in terms of that finding, is that that connectivity for productivity is an essential part of being competitive. But the manufacturing industry is still behind the curve because of that mindset that's rooted in the past, and they need to embrace emerging technologies in order to become competitive on a global level.
Would this then create problems for us to factor in the adaptation of the era of the fourth industrial revolution, as many companies have transformed at the moment?
That's exactly what it comes down to. The emerging technologies that underlie the fourth industrial revolution, like robotics, artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and for example, augmented reality and virtual reality. Those are all elements of embracing digital transformation. They're all part of being part of this fourth industrial revolution. And manufacturing has a key role to play in it. Everyone talks about 3D printing being the heart of the fourth industrial revolution for manufacturing, but that's just one element. That's just a technique and a strategy that they can use within the fourth industrial revolution. All these emerging technologies are key, and that connectivity is what underlies and underpins all of these emerging technologies.
Can we say the problem of budgeting for new technology, especially moving from analog to digital, would be a problem for some of the small businesses which have not considered making that change now before it's too late?
It is true, but it's also a question of where your budgeting priorities lie, and that in fact is one of the questions we asked in the survey. What are your budgeting priorities? And the priorities in the manufacturing sector lag behind those of other sectors. So they're still very much focused on maintenance of what they currently have and keeping, let's say, keeping the lights on, as opposed to moving forward to making the business more efficient.
So going forward, what's the solution in terms of the advice that the research you have made says?
The solution is fairly clear. It's that manufacturing has to look at, let's say, best practice, both in South Africa and other industries, those that are well ahead of them, but also globally, what is best practice in manufacturing, embracing these emerging technologies and becoming part of the fourth industrial revolution, because there are numerous case studies of how it makes your business more, not just more efficient, but more cost effective. What we found was that the biggest priority today in manufacturing is the price of technology products and services rather than the quality of those products and services, which tells you that they are focused on cost effectiveness, but not necessarily on efficiency.
All right. Thank you very much for making time.
Thank you.
Right. Arthur Goldstuck is Managing Director of World Wide Worx, and of course talking to us about technology, adaptation, as well as the manufacturing sector.